Hello everyone. This video I'm going to show you how to install crack stick for concrete expansion joint. This is a sealant for parking lots or concrete. So we're using this product called Crack Stix, which is a kind of like a plastic material that can be melted using a torch. So this is a spool of about 250 feet. This is about a half an inch type of diameter of, I guess you can call it crack stick material. You can go to crackstix.com and buy it directly from them. This spool of 250 feet, I may be wrong, it maybe more than 250 feet, maybe 500 feet, I'm not sure, but I paid $250 for this 65-pound spool of Crack Stix. So the reason why we're doing it using a Crack Stix versus sealant is that I tried sealant before. It lasts about, I would say, 10 years, and then after 10 years this is the kind of stuff that happens to it. That's some remnants of our sealant. It got pulled out because what happened is when it's hot, sometimes it just melts, and you can actually pull it out. So we're replacing it for this particular parking lot. After about 14 years, we needed to replace it, and so in this video I'm gonna go step by step. First thing that we did is here already that I didn't show you. We simply just remove all the existing crummy excess material, clean it up, and the wood expansion joint is still actually there and it's still looking good, so that's a good thing. So that provides a good base, but that's too low. We're gonna fill it up with a little bit of sand, and then we're gonna lay the crack stick on it and we're going to torch it. So I'm gonna show everything in this video step by step to show you how we're gonna do this, and also show you the finished product later. Okay, so this is what the crack stick, well, no, sorry, this is where the what it looks like right now before we apply the crack stick. As you can see, this is what a typical sealant failure looks like. So that's some melted one right there, and that's how it's peeling. And in about 6 months or so, this would have been completely peeled out, and stuff from inside of it, which is like foam, will start it's gonna start coming out and becoming trash all over the parking lot. So I just want to show you that this is before we clean it out. This is a sample of some crack stick material that we did a couple of days ago. So this is pretty newly cured, probably about 1 week old. So that's what it looks like. As you can see, it's nice and clean, and the material is actually very hard. This is much harder than the sealant, but in the heat this gets soft. I can actually make an indentation. I don't know if you can see that. See, look. So it's soft enough for you to make indentations, but this is because it's kind of hot right now in the sun. When it's really cold, this gets really hard, like almost like plastic hard. Yeah, so, but it looks really clean. I like it better than the sealant. See? Very clean, very nice, clean lines. So, like I was saying before, we use sand to increase the level or grade the foundation up. We don't use baccarat. We try to do baccarat before using cell foam, and it doesn't work because when we torch it down, the backer rod actually melts, and it actually ruins the crack stick. It starts mixing in with the crack stick as it melts together, and it's terrible. So with the crack stick, what we do is we have sand and we pack it down, and then we lay the crack stick directly on top of it. So I'm using a broom here, and what I'm trying to do is grate it about 1/4 inch from the shoulders. So what I mean by the shoulder, I'm talking about the edges here and here. So these are the shoulder. What you want to do is you make sure that the sand is graded about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch from the shoulder, and we're gonna put 2 crack stick here, and when it melts, it's going to be very nicely just covering, but not on top of the concrete. You do not want to have the crack stick sticking out above the concrete, because what happens is when the car goes over it, the tires is going to be hot and it's going to be sticking to the crack stick, and then it may pull it out. So make sure that your crack stick is below the surface of the concrete. That's very important. Yeah, so it's really easy. This is just regular sand, and I'm just using a broom, and I'm just pushing it and grading it all at the same time, just like that. Okay, so just grade it. You don't have to measure it. Just use your own judgment and eyeing it. I'm just eyeing it to make sure they're about the same level. Okay, so as you can see, we're just laying the crack stick down just like that. There's 2 of them. It fits exactly at the spot, filling in the gap that we have here, and we're just pressing it down to make sure that we get it down and compacted into the sand as much as possible. And after this, we are ready to do the torching. Okay, we're using regular propane tank, and this is a torch made by Mac Torch. This works really well with the crack stick. You don't have to buy the torch from Crack Stix website. That costs $200. It does have a nice wheel on it, but yeah, we don't do too much of these work, so this is actually fine for us. I'm gonna put the link for this particular torch in the description if you want to buy it. Okay, go ahead. So we're working in the small sections at a time, and you just want to get it completely melted, but you don't want to get it too hot where it burns. So if you get it too hot, it's actually going to turn brown, and it's like you're burning it. And you can tell when it's too hot, and what you need to do is just move away, wait a little bit, let it melt, and then come back and torch it some more. And so the only thing that you're trying to do is just to get it melted, really. And once it's liquidy, let it run, let it soak in, and fill in the holes. Yeah, you can see that over there it's not completely melted. Now we're going back and we're melting those. So the key point here is just going back and forth, but don't let it burn too much where it's gonna create a burn mark. And you also do not want to, you want to make sure that the flame is hot enough and it's not yellow or orange. If you have orange flame, that means that the burn is not clean, or is not a proper burn, and you can actually leave stain on your concrete if you don't have a proper burn. So you want to make sure that the flame is actually blue, or in this bright sunlight, you cannot actually see the blue. It's just actually just white or clear, not white. Okay, so we have done quite a bit of a foot here of section, so you can see that over here it's a little bit overflowing, but that's okay, it's not too much. And over here it's kind of perfect. That's actually looking pretty good. A little bit of burn here when we started, but it's still overall pretty good. Over here we have an issue. Sometimes the crack stick has a mind of its own and it starts overflowing and bulging up or bubbling up, and that's exactly what happened there. But eventually it will calm down and start melting and becomes liquid. So just take it easy, one section at a time. This requires some practice, and once you get a hang of it, you will know how much is too much. Okay, in this section you can tell that the gap is not very big, and I actually did not make this shallow enough. This is definitely gonna overflow if we put two of these here. So what you want to do, instead of just making a deeper hole, you can actually stretch this. See, I'm making a thinner version of the crack stick by stretching it. So you're making a thinner version. Now it will fit. You see how thin that is in comparison to this one right here? This is very thick, and you see how thin that is. So this stuff is very easy to stretch, and you don't have to get a 1/4 inch. I never buy the 1/4 inch because you can always just stretch it like that and make it fit in smaller spaces. Okay, so this is a good example of a crack stick that just got applied here. This is about an hour after it has been torched down. This is the perfect elevation right here. You see that this is just slightly beneath the concrete, the edge. This is slightly beneath the edge right here, and it's cool to the touch. So once you torch it down, the crack stick dries in about 20 minutes. It's still slightly warm, and it is now within an hour is cool to touch. You can actually form it after an hour. You see that I can actually press it down right here. You see that this is kind of like bulging out. I can actually press it down after about an hour. Now you're not going to make much of a difference doing this because you'll actually bounce back after a period of time because it's kind of like rubbery, but you can tell that the material is pretty easy to work with. Yeah, so to give you an idea, I have a team of 2 people. My son there still torching down, and myself, we did about 72 feet of crack stick. From there we did 8 parking spots, each parking spot being 9 foot wide. We did 8 of them, so 72 feet. We did it about 3 hours or so from the time that we start digging up the existing sealant. We have to pull it out, clean them, and then prepare the hole for the sand, Sometimes when it's wet, we actually torch it down first. Torch it down meaning that we dry it up, and to get the to make sure that the shoulder area is dry and free of dust. It's important that it's free of dust so that the crack stick can actually adhere to the side of the shoulder really well. And keep in mind that my son and I have about 300, probably almost somewhere between 300 to 500 worth of crack stick feet experience, and we did not know how to do this even a month ago, but after doing about 300 to 500 feet, we got pretty good at it. Right now we did this 72 feet in about 3.5 hours, and so this is just the last part that we're going to do for today, and we're almost done. Yeah, so once again, I hope that this video was useful. I didn't find any video on crack stick that actually did a large amount of space, like a parking lot like we did here, and so I hope this video was useful. If you want to order some crack stick, you can get it directly on their website. If you have any questions and you think I may be able to answer the question, please leave it in a comment. And thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel to see more do-it-yourself video like these and support my channel. Thank you.